Hello, I'm ABX and welcome back to episode 289 of my Minecraft Xbox Update Adventures Let's Play. This is the Let's Play where I've been playing through the various updates that have come out for Minecraft on the console, building stuff, killing stuff, and of course, destroying stuff. And in today's episode, I wanted to actually do some building again. It's been a couple of episodes, and there's something I've wanted to build for a really long time now, but I don't really have the resources, and it's not necessarily a great idea. But then, you know, this is the Let's Play. Why should either of those two things stop me? And in today's episode, I'm going to be building. I try and, make it a guessing game based on, I've got white, red, and brown. But, you can probably see it in the thumbnail of the title. Today, I'm going to be building a giant bed to go along with the giant toy cat statue I've got there. And, yeah, it's going to be a giant-ish bed because, the first reason I wanted to do it is because, I've been really obsessed with bed wars recently. You might have caught that in, the video or the several live streams. But I've been really obsessed with bed wars recently, and I was like, oh yeah, we'll do a bed to signify that, and maybe have like a real bed game here. But then I realized, I really shouldn't do that because, it's one of those games that will be gone, like in some number of months, and it probably isn't, it's going to be considered as like, oh yeah, that's kind of a weird thing. So rather than, doing something temporary that I can't truly ever do in survival, why not instead just have a bed here? One, to signify that as a tribute, but two, because I have the giant toy cat statue up there, why not have it be a bed that kind of goes alongside him, and that also lets you know that this is the spawn. Bed is kind of the, the universal marker of the spawn, and I figure, if we're going to have a universal marker of the spawn, why not have it be here, right between my main house, and between this little kind of edge of the world and the toy, this is just like the home part of the world. Let's have a giant bed here. So that's what I'm doing in today's video. I want to go with like a 3/4 scale bed, so we need to, I guess, first of all, to do that, work out the measurements. So 3/4 scale would be like, I guess, 12 by 24 blocks wide, so, three pixels for every 4 blocks, or 4 pixels per every 3 blocks, and then we need to have 24 blocks of length, which I think we have more than that here, but the 12 blocks of width is really tricky when you've got a mountain which is so curvy, it literally curves in and out here, so we have to kind of work out a surface where that makes sense, and yeah, this is important building, by the way, so I guess we'll start with here, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, and I don't know if it's a good idea to go much further this way, so we'll go 11 here, and then maybe go back this way to get the 12. Again, it's not perfect in either direction, but we've got our 12 blocks across, and then let's work out exactly where the 24 blocks will start, because I feel like, there's a really weird mixture of biomes here. It's like, oh yeah, it's swamp, but then it's forest, and they intersect at this random point here. So if we're going to have that happen anyway, why not have that intersection be the start of the bed? So this can be block number 1, this can be 3, that can be 6, and then I guess this is 8, 10, 12, 14, 16, 20, 22, 24. I'm actually looking at this now and I'm thinking, that seems a bit too far this way. Maybe we should move it this way, forwards by 2 blocks, so, or 4 blocks or something, so make this 26, this 28, and then remove the last 4 blocks over here, and then that can be the, the bed placement, and boom, now a bit of planning has saved us quite a bit of work. So remove these 4 blocks, make this block number 1, and let's do that. So remove these 2, make a mini tower here, and then let's get straight into it, straight into the building, shall we, with the corner of the bed. So, again, I don't know if too many of you are familiar with the design of a bed. I spent way too long, looking at beds for various different reasons. The thing about the bed in Minecraft is it's such a valuable item that, you have to use it all the time, and it means, even, to do something as simple as this, you just run across a bed a lot, and that's why I know that a bed has this weird little corner frame, and then on top of the bed, there's some red, which I'm using some redstone for, and then there's some quartz, which I'm using quartz for. If you're curious as to why I'm using such valuable blocks to do something so, I guess, menial or stupid or whatever you want to call it, is because basically red and white wool are something that I used to have a lot of because I had a giant sheep farm, but every single update or every now and then they would just make it so, is this the last block, or okay, I think to here maybe we make a giant mistake, but sure, imperfections make something perfect, I've heard. Yeah, that's a true fact, right? I'm pretty sure the things that make you like someone a lot more, I've heard, are a lot more the things that make them imperfect than the things that make them perfect. So let's take that, let's run with it, and let's say that if this bed is 25 blocks, that's what will make it the perfect bed in my opinion. So, but yeah, like I was saying, so basically, I spent a lot of time on beds because they're just such an important block in Minecraft, and yeah, you have to look at them, look at the angles, and apparently that means I'm pretty familiar with how to build the thing. So yeah, we have the wooden frame here, then on top of the wooden frame is going to go the redstone blocks for the most bit. Again, I've got a bunch of valuable red blocks, which will look terrible on the build, but I think it's going to make a really weird neon-y plasticky effect, which might just look okay. Again, it's a big might. It's one of these things where, it's Minecraft. Let's see what happens. Worst case scenario, I have a silly looking build. Best case scenario, I discover the best way to make a bed and I do it in survival. That would be the beautiful outcome of today. That probably won't happen, but it's nice to dream sometimes, right? So, while we do this, because we've got a lot of, like, I guess spam, or not, like, mass placement of blocks, because after we do this, all we have to do then is add in the redstone blocks, and I think after that, things get very simple. So, actually, you know, let's do that right now. Let's count the redstone blocks, and then let me talk about, like, the upgrades I've been making to my house recently. So, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16. I think that's about 2/3 across this thing. It looks roughly 2/3. We'll just kind of take this, run with it. And yeah, I want to talk about upgrades to my house because it's something I've done for the past couple of weeks now, and I've really enjoyed the reception to it, honestly. Like, I'm glad other people have been enjoying the story as much as I have. And it's actually kind of nuts that, you know, just to explain this one more time, that a lot of people actually still think I live in the apartment video, from the video, like, I guess it was 3 years ago now. I think it was 2013, maybe 2014, because I made that video, I think it was with, like, my then, because I used to live by myself with my then, I was going to say my then brother, my then girlfriend and my brother, and it was, like, a really, really interesting living situation. Like, I learned a lot about living by myself from that. It's really interesting that a lot of people, like, still think that, oh, I thought you lived there this whole time. And isn't it kind of nuts, actually, that, like, in 3 years, you wouldn't expect most people to, you know, change where they live and change kind of everything about themselves. But really, that's how I am. I look at the toy cat from that video and I'm like, wow, there's been some significant changes. Like, I went back and watched the setup video from 2013 again, and there's a lot of things that, like, just pop out on me, like, oh, well, first of all, you might notice how he is, like, you know, I know, like, I'm a lot, like, I guess, larger. Like, I wanted to go back and look, because I noticed at some point, or I deliberately went out of my way to lose, like, a significant amount of weight since, like, at some point in, like, 2015, 2016. I think it was last year, actually, so 2016? It might have been 2015, I don't know, years are confusing. But yeah, I went out of my way to, like, lose a significant amount of weight, but I couldn't really ever see it. But then I was like, you know what, here's a smart idea. I'll go back and I'll see, you know, like, what, you know, 2013 me actually looked like. And I was like, whoa, well, that's a big noticeable change. Like, I guess maybe I was fat the whole time. Maybe I just didn't know it. And so that was like, oh, that's a little bit of a shock. But then I also noticed, like, everything about, like, that I'm showing off is, like, significantly worse than it is now. And, like, I know, I look back at that and I'm like, wow, you know, 2017 Toy Cat, definitely an upgrade from 2013 Toy Cat. Like, it's one of those things that makes me happy that, like, the amount of changes that happened in those, you know, like, maybe 4 years. Let's call it 4 years, because 4 years is such a round number. But, you know, the number of changes that have happened in those 4 years is, like, really, really quite significant, because... And I think it's pretty awesome that so much can happen in such a short amount of time, because it's, you know, it's a story, like, I would say, like, to other people, but, you know, you don't need to care about, like, how many changes I've made in my life, but, like, it's kind of like a cool story to myself as to, like, wow, if in 4 years, just by, you know, like, again, let's call it working hard, but doing interesting, different things, you can end up going from that to that. I imagine what my life will be like in 4 years from here. Like, how uphill can we go from here? I don't know. Can we go uphill? Have I reached the peak? Is this, you know, where everything starts going downhill? I don't know for certain, but it's, like, exciting that, like, you know, there is, even if you can't comprehend it at the time, things can go uphill, and that's honestly something that I find to be pretty cool. So yeah, this is gonna sound terrible to say out loud, but I guess I kind of inspire myself, because again, in that video, you can see so many, like, again, like, terrible parts of the setup. You can even see, like, again, the girl behind the camera is just, like, making these, like, comments that make me go, like, oh, this is, like, uncomfortable for me right now. I imagine how uncomfortable it was for, like, me to, like, be recording the video and hear that stuff. I know, it's the sort of stuff where I'm like, well, now I get it. Isn't that interesting and fun? I guess I kind of like that. But yeah, on the subject of small upgrades to the house, because again, I've been living here, and every now and then I'll just, like, go make a really nice big upgrade, and it's like, whoa, that's so cool. And you can get really excited about the smallest things these way, because, you know, how people always will tell you, like, people will always tell you, like, oh yeah, you should be excited about running water, Toy Cat, because, you know, like, lots of people don't have running water. But truth be told, you know, I've had running water forever. Like, that's not something you can get me excited about, because, you know, although it's amazing that, yeah, we get this water, you know, this vital life resource, and it just pours out the taps forever. You know, like, you turn on those taps now, you come back in a week, or, in fact, because I'm coming back in a week, maybe I've left my taps running a week to prove a point. I wonder if they would be turned. You know, I'd have to check that out sometime. Maybe, actually, no, maybe I will do that experiment, just because I think, you know, wasting water is something that, like, annoys people a disproportionate amount. So, yeah, I'm not actually going to do it, but if I did run my taps a week, it would, you know, they would run. I could have this unlimited life supply of water just come out the tap. And isn't that, like, that's amazing, right? And I get that, but it's hard to get really excited every time. It's not like, oh yeah, I turn on the taps and guess what? Water came out that was actually clean, or, like, most of the time it's clean, I think. But yeah, it's not nighttime yet. So actually, I'm actually going to put my bed closer to the mountain so I can like compare the two, because right now I think this is coming across quite well. Like it was meant to be like a neon plasticky whatever bed, and I think it's just about fulfilling that objective, that's pretty darn nice. So yeah, we'll put our bed just underneath that so we can compare the two. And then I've been making a lot of nice upgrades, and it's amazing that like you can actually get excited every time you do something if you do the upgrade this way, and you really think it out. And I don't know, I think it's something about the process. Like the process of getting excited for something makes the thing genuinely better, and that's something I realize when it comes to a lot of things. But the most recent upgrade that I made like that, where it's such a small one, all it is the cape. So this might be again like a localized thing, because, some countries have light switches for their bathroom, but usually every bathroom I've ever had, in a house of mine in the UK, there's like a cord that you pull to turn on the light, and sometimes the extractor fan too, right? That's a common thing. Do we all agree on that? I don't know if, I guess if you don't agree on that, then pretend there's a magic piece of string that you pull that turns on the lights. Again, just in case. I'm always so scared of stuff, because so many random things like change from country to country that sometimes you don't even spot them. And maybe, like the pull cords on light switches are one of those things. So let's assume that maybe it does change. But if you can imagine the magic, pulley light, then that's great. But yeah, I upgraded mine to be from this piece of string that, it was a really old piece of string. It was kind of gross, honestly, to look at. And I upgraded from that to like these, these metal, I guess like a pull, I guess it's like a pull bar, no pull cord, and it's like so much nicer. It's got a chain attached, and it just, every time I touch the, the like fill thing, I'm like, ooh, this is very fancy. And isn't it amazing that, again, like, because it was like this big process of like, that would be a nice upgrade. And then, I spent the £9.99 or whatever it is to buy a couple of them on Amazon. Pro tip, go to Amazon, whatever my referral link is. This, maybe this is like the longest series of like product promotions ever. Like every week I team up with a random household company to try to convince you to buy random stuff, but that would be a very convoluted plan. But no, basically, it's a pull cord, and it's just so much nicer, and it's just, again, it makes me realize that upgrades are really important. I feel like if you were born into a house, or like you were born into a life where just everything was amazing, you wouldn't be able to get excited about it. In the same way that running water, even though I know it's this cool, amazing, thing, you can't get excited about it because it's literally water. Like, oh, this thing that I've, been using forever. But if it's something that you just suddenly get, it's so much better. And that's something I realized like a while ago in terms of like, oh yeah, well, it's better to be born, it's better, being born into like wealth must be a terrifying concept, because most people, so, maybe this is like talking trash, but I think it's Jaden Smith, the child of Will Smith. His parents just let him do whatever he wants all the time. So he lives this wacky life. Like it's very confusing. If you try and follow any of it. That's why he's known for being the guy who says like, "Oh, how can mirrors be real if our eyes aren't real?" So yeah, he's a wacky child. He's allowed to do whatever he wants in his life, and he has the financial backing and support and whatnot. But I feel like that's a terrible thing for anyone to be able to do, because it just means that they can't understand or appreciate any of that stuff. Like, they don't understand that, oh, so other people don't just get to do whatever they want regardless of the financial cost. Like, oh, you're telling me if I buy my friends all of their stuff, it's going to create a weird, dynamic to that relationship? Oh, that doesn't make any sense. Trust me, it's just what I have. I have this unlimited, I have this card that just makes things happen for me. I feel like that is going to lead to a life that's less happy. And again, if you read some of his Twitter feed, very, very much recommend it, by the way, because, like he realizes that he was weird a few years ago and he tries to fix that, but then he's also kind of weird in that. You can kind of see that, yeah, there's less happiness. If you give someone everything, everything is not the solution. everything looks like the answer. I guess a lot of money looks like the answer to most problems. But truth be told, that's just the answer from the perspective of not having everything. Like, I don't have it. Let me clarify. Like, I don't have anything, but like every time I get something, I value the upgrade. I don't value having the upgrade. Which is, again, it's really interesting, the distinction there. But it's one that I think can change a lot about how you see the world and stuff. So I actually need to get some more wood. I realise I've got 6 bits and I need more than 6 bits. And I also need some more redstone blocks. So should I just go all the way to the other side of my world, or should I just make do without the redstone blocks and cover the bottom with wood, maybe? I'm not too sure. Let's just chop down a few trees and continue talking about the pull cords. So, exciting pull cords. Would recommend them if you have a bathroom and you live in the United Kingdom or somewhere that has a pull cord. I would recommend it. It's one of those changes that is just happy every single time. Go ahead, there you go. There's Toycat trying to sell your products. Again, it'd be great if I actually had some like grand reason to do it, but no, it's just here's an endorsement of a random thing that I really enjoyed this week. And There's been a lot of things like that recently, like with the scales and like the rug stuff, and I think I should mention one like every week because, yeah, if you stay focused on the improvements, it's very happy and fun stuff. So another thing that I've been thinking about a lot this week, it's actually still cool upgrades because for the second channel I do a lot of like vlog content and for live streams and stuff. So I figured, you know what? I've been doing this long enough, I should probably get an upgrade to the setup. But the thing is like smartphone cameras are really, really good these days. Like even if you talk to professional photography people that, you know, like, or not photography, videographer people that like, you know, use these fancy cameras or, you know, like let's make up brand names like GoPros and, you know, the DJIs and whatnot. Even if you speak to those people, they'll still say like, yeah, even from my perspective, like a smartphone is always going to win because, you know, the convenience. Like, the only reason people use it is because you get more, like, control and access and stuff. But even then, it's, like, a close call. So, you know, as someone who isn't a videographer, which is most of us right now, it's one of those things that makes you realize, like, oh, yeah, well, I guess... Also, I want to see underneath the bed. Oh, my bad. I want to see, like, what you can actually see from underneath the bed. Like, can you see... Okay, so we'll put that down there. Can you see the wood, or can you see the red and the white? Because if you can see the red and the white, that creates a problem, right? Okay, no, you can only see wood. It's like a giant wood texture too, but you know, we'll just place wood under it, and that can happen itself. Easy good stuff. But let me try and stay on one train of thought for more than 6 seconds. I swear I can do it, guys. I swear I can do it. So, yeah, basically, you know, like smartphones, a lot of people, you know, think that, oh yeah, you have to go with a better camera. But I've been like really trying to work with the smartphone camera because convenience, and you don't have to feel quite so weird when you use it. And there's a lot of benefits before you consider that it's actually an amazing, you know, like camera on there. But what I did do is I upgraded the audio on it. So I've got this microphone adapter that's like, you know, directional, reduces wind. It's a pretty useful little thing. And in fact, it's got a windsock. I'm holding it now. You can't see me holding it, so I'll put it down. But it's a cool little piece of kit. And the upgrade to the thing just feels really cool. It looks really cool. And it makes me realize that, you know, the people that, you know, insist every time that, oh yeah, even though it's really cool that you can use your smartphone to do this or that, or make real people YouTube videos, even though those sorts of people will be like that, it's because it's always hard to adjust to, I guess, like, change in the way you do things. Like, this is something you can probably experience somewhere in your life. If someone tries to tell you that, oh yeah, what you're doing right now is wrong, you have to do it this other way, it really, really, really sucks. Trying to relearn anything you already do is a real pain. This is why, have you ever tried switching from, you know, Mac to Windows, or Windows to Mac, or Linux to any operating system, even, let's call it, you know, like iPhone to Android, there's always this period of like, I know how to do this thing, but I can't do it right now. This is frustrating. Whereas, you know, when you first get a device, it's like, oh, I'm going to learn how you make calls. Ooh, wow, isn't that sparkly and shiny? And I've been trying to work out this week because, you know, I spend a lot of time thinking about random things. That's how I live my life. I don't know if you know that, but I was trying to work out a lot this week. Like, I wonder what it is that makes relearning something so much worse than learning something new. Because, again, if you were to teach me right now, like, oh yeah, well, this is, you know, like, teach me plumbing, teach me, you know, like, how electricity works. I'd be like, wow, that's interesting. But if you tried to tell me that, oh yeah, so Kat, the way you, you know, the way you make videos is wrong. Because, you know, the way I am going to have to make videos is changing, like, you know, because YouTube is a very fast, rapid game, right? Like, it's changing all the time. YouTubers from a year ago are gone now, and YouTubers from 5 years ago, most of them are gone now. And, you know, it's the sort of thing where you have to, like, kind of stay up to date with, like, oh, well, now the title game has changed. Like, if you get, but, you know, guess what? If you don't use a title that's catchy enough for, you know, to lure someone in on the homepage, guess what? You don't get views in the video. That's just YouTube as of 2017 now, right? So things are changing very quickly, and one of those things, you know, like lots of those things I'm kind of resistant to, but lots I try to catch up with, and it kind of hurts to learn those new things as opposed to, oh yeah, here's the first time I did it, isn't it wonderful? Like, here's a way to get views and stuff. But it's interesting that is something I experience, and I haven't been able to work out for sure why it is that relearning sucks so much worse. Because again, I'd love to learn about something for the first time, but learning for the 5th time or the 4th time, you know, revision is something I would never do personally. Like, even I think I revised for one like exam properly ever, and I think I got like this will sound like bragging, so I got like I swear to God, like I got like 100% on some like statistics exam or something, and I was like, oh, I guess if you just remember it, can do that. But yeah, I could never do it in the future because revising, trying to like put knowledge into your head over and over and over again, it's not natural, it's not fun. It's just, you know, you remove all the intriguing parts of learning. I think you know, like the best bit about learning new facts, the reason I like doing it, the reason a lot of the Minecraft channel is about it, and you know, even the second channel, just on a different subject. The reason all of these you know, things are like that is because when you first learn something, it's like, ooh, that shifted how I understand things. Whereas I think the second time you learn something, it's more like, oh, well, I guess that's that thing from before. Now it's back in my brain. Like maybe it's the sort of thing where like, oh yeah, well, the first time you try anything, it feels amazing. The second time you try anything, it can still be pretty good, but, you know, it's not quite that first time. And maybe knowledge is just that, but on, like, the craziest top level. I don't know for certain, but like I said, gonna, I guess, refocus the YouTube game. Always, like, trying to, like, mix... I think something that's, like, more important, just to give a specific example, rather than say, oh, yeah, YouTube is changing, is, like, I think the perception of how edited something is has really changed how well it does. Like, back in the day, all it mattered is that you made a video with some cool stuff in it. But I feel like now, more and more, or maybe it's because, you know, the channels are growing, whatever, but more and more it feels like people want to feel like the video is edited. I don't know why that is. I can't entirely explain to you why that's a phenomenon, but because, you know, some portion of the audience thinks it, it's now important to, you know, I'm not saying, like, you know, just make it feel like it's edited, but, like, you know, putting editing in is something that has to be done just because people want to feel like it's there and, like, feel like what they're watching is better. And I don't blame that for being a fact, but it's weird that, like, the perception of something is almost as important as the actual thing. So we haven't filled in all of this gap right now. It's kind of annoying, but if we look at the bed from over on the house, because that's where the best view will be, and we give it like a comparison, we can see if we did well today or not, and that'll be kind of nice. So one more thing I wanted to actually get across before we go is the fact that, you know, I mentioned earlier that, like, oh yeah, YouTubers fade out all the time. You know, YouTubers from a year ago are now gone or doing something different, and it's something I realized because I watched a lot of channels back in, like, 2009, and even before I started my channel, even before I started uploading, so I guess, again, back to 2009, 2010, I'd still, like, watch a fair number of YouTubers, and because that's now, like, what, 8 years ago, out of all of the, you know, the channels I watch, a lot of them still exist. They don't do it full time, it's not their main thing, but they are still YouTubers in some capacity, and it's kind of nice to me knowing that, you know, you'll never truly ever leave YouTube. You know, like, some of you might decide, you know, it's okay, you know, I think I've heard everything you have to say, I'm out of here, in peace, or whatever, you know, but, like, there'll always be, like, a cool reconnection of a community, like a friendship, because that's kind of what YouTube has a lot of aspects the same as a friendship, and it's nice that, you know, like, it'll always be there at some point, even if, you know, like, in 5 years, I'm actually, you know, that everything's gone downhill, I now driver, I'm going to pick up some random job title like, oh yeah, I am a forklift driver who talks about philosophy on the weekends, or I don't know, just making up random stuff like that. Even if that happens, it'll be nice that, like, every now and then I'll check into YouTube, say hi, let you know how I'm doing, and it's kind of nice that that's a fact. Anyway, as you can see, I really like the way the bed looks, actually. I think the size, almost right, like, it looks like, you know, Toy Cat is too big for the bed, which might be a bit silly. I think the perfect squarishness of it might actually be a problem. Maybe I should have curved it a bit or something, because I know the way the red and the white blend into each other isn't great, but I think the bed, pretty fun build, pretty great episode. I hope you all enjoyed it, because I enjoyed it too, and I guess I'll see you all on the way back. As this goes live, I'm on my flight home, I think, or I'm at the airport waiting for the flight. Time zones are weird. That ice has not unfrozen. But yeah, that's where I am right now. Hopefully you all enjoyed this episode. And let me know if a like if you did, share if you really liked it, and subscribe if you're around here, because I'm back, and I'm going to be doing some things differently. Maybe, hopefully, or maybe nothing at all. Who knows for sure? All I know is that I'm IVX Toy Cat, and I'll see you all next week. Bye!